This
Basically, I
conference will
want
now
to
be
ask
recorded.
which version of Java you are running in your system. 7. Huh. So basically, we are running. If you install just 2 or 3 days back or 1 month back, also you are using Java 21st version. What you are using? Java 21st version, Java 21. If you want to know what is the version right now going on, so you can also go for, okay, right. So Java Wikipedia. So Java Wikipedia. So just I want to give some information on Java 8. So that is just okay. So Wikipedia is the best thing to understand anything. Now, if you look at here, what is the present version going on? So when was the first version released? May 23, 1995, 28 years ago. Okay, I think you are not even born on that time, right? But I was there. I was there, obviously. Okay. So now see which version is there. Oh, don't ask me my age and everything. Okay. So not 22. I'm more than 20. Okay. So you are saying Java. Okay. So Java SC22 is the version. Okay. Now most people ask me like, sir, which version I need to install? Which version is the best to install in a Java in a computer system? Always go for the latest LTS. Always go for the latest LTS. LTS means long term support. What is LTS? Long term support. So LTS, how many LTS are there here if you observe? Uh, 21 is LTS, 17 is LTS, 11 is LTS, and 8 is LTS. And now what you observe here? What is the first LTS? Java 8. Java 8. So March 2014. I think you were in 10th class, I guess. 10th class, not even 10th class. Ninth, 8th. Okay. So Java 8 was released in which year? March 8, 2014. March 8, 2014. So this was the time when it was facing strong competition with Python. Okay, Python was also like in 1995 only, but it was not most prominent at that time. Okay, but this was the time where in March 2014, 2015, at that time, Python was coming into the picture. So Python is like concise coding, very less coding. All those things were there with Python. Okay. So now if you ask a Python programmer to write a program for adding two numbers, he'll just write in 3 lines and give you. Okay. So there were many changes. There were many changes in Java programming. There were many additions into the Java programming from this version onwards. And still they are the best things that Java can have. Okay. And after 8 version, which was the LTS? 11. Okay, so 11. Okay, so 11, then 17 was the LTS, and 21 is now the latest LTS. Yes, long term support. So it will support all the features, all the features. Okay, so there might be some drawbacks with 18, 19, 20 version, but the LTS versions will always support very, very well. LTS stands for what? Long term support. What was the first long term support? Java 8. What is the latest long-term support? 21. Years and all, no need to remember at all. Okay, just try to remember these two things. What is the latest? 21. What is the first? Okay. Sir, up to now, okay. You also like you understood OOPS concept, you understood inheritance, interface, and all those things. Okay, sir. Now, are these waste? No, I'm not saying they are waste or anything. Now, Java 8 will enhance the things which you already learned. What does Java 8 do? It will enhance the things. What it will do, sir? It will enhance. It will make it easy. It will make it easy. Instead of writing big, big codes in small lines, you can finish that. Okay, sir. What are the things that we need to learn under Java? So, without wasting much time, we will talk about that. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to learn is the okay. So, okay, let me Okay, I think I need to close this. Okay, right. So now what is the first thing that I need to learn, sir? I need to talk about the lambda expression. What is the first thing that I need to talk about? So these 8 things we will be understanding. Okay. Okay. So in that 8 things, we will focus on the first lambda expression, method references, function interfaces, stream API. Okay. For each. So we will be focusing on those things most of the time. Yes. But what are the Java 8 features? If they ask you, what you will say? Lambda expressions, method references, functional interfaces, stream API, default static and private. So basically private methods in the interface are from Java 9 actually. It is not the exact Java 8 feature, but that is also important. Okay. And you have optional class and you have for each method and you have datetime API. So these are things that we are going to understand. Okay. So first we'll start with functional interfaces. Okay. We'll not go in any order or anything. Okay. So if you kind of search any information anywhere, so this is the list that it will give, but we'll not go in that order actually. Okay, so but before all this, we need to talk about annotations. What we need to talk about? Annotations. So now you are going to learn frameworks, isn't it? So in frameworks, annotations are very, very important. So first what we'll do is we'll work with the annotation. We'll work with the annotation. Here in this list it won't be there because it is not a Java 8 feature actually. Okay, annotations are like metadata. Metadata means the data about the data. Suppose you are using one Java element. So you have to tell the compiler that this is the element that I am using. That is what is called annotation. What is annotation? Annotation is the metadata. So okay, before all that, first of all, what are the things that are there here? What is the first thing that we are going to learn? Lambda expression. Okay, order is not important as I've told you. Next is method references you are going to learn. You are going to learn functional interfaces. You are going to learn stream API. You are going to learn default, static and private method inside the interface, and you are going to talk about optional class. Okay, you are going to talk about for each method, you are going to talk about date time API. Okay, date time API. Okay, now come to the third one, functional interface. Can anyone read that? An interface that contains only one abstract method. Interface that contain, you know what is an interface? Yes, an interface which will contain only one abstract method is known as what? Is known as a functional interface. Is known as a functional interface. It can have any number of default and static methods. If you remember, interface up to now what we learned? Interface only contain abstract methods. We learned or not? What we learned? We learned that interface only contains abstract method. But now here what I'm saying? Here now I'm saying that interfaces will contain interfaces will contain one abstract method, So that is called as what? Functional interface. Previously, an interface can contain many abstract methods, but now only one abstract method. That is called SAM. SAM stands for Samantha. Okay, SEM stands for single abstract method. Single abstract method. Now go to this point. Default static. These are non-abstract methods defined inside an interface. Defined inside an interface and tagged with a default static or a private keyword. They will have a method body. See, these terms are already known to you or not? Like method body, right? Static method, default method. So default method, we know that we don't have any keyword. So now, for example, if I ask you what is a private method, What you'll say? Private void method name, you'll say, or not? Okay. So now if I ask you what is the default method, you will say a method without any access specifier, without any access specifier. No private will be there, no public will be there, no protected will be there. So that is called a default. But here what you are seeing, it will have a default keyword. It will have a default keyword. So that is what the point is. You will get all known things only. No, you are not getting things, anything new or something like that. Okay. Okay, I'll make it clear. I'll make it comfortable for you so that you will not think that these are very new things for us. Okay. Okay. What are the two things that we covered now? We covered functional interfaces and the default method. Okay. Next, we'll talk about lambda expression. Now, read the lambda expression. They provide a clear and concise way. Way means simpler way. Concise way is smaller way, exactly. Smaller way to implement what? Single abstract method interface. Who is single abstract method interface? Who is single abstract method interface? Functional interface. Who is single abstract method interface? Functional interface. So I want to use that. I want to use that single abstract method. I want to use that single abstract method. So how can I use that? Using lambda expressions. Using lambda expressions. Using which expression? Lambda expression. So what you can do on the data, sir? I can iterate the data. Which data I can iterate, sir? I can iterate the collection. I can iterate the collection. You understood array list in the last class. Okay, array list, linked list, all that you can work with now. Yes, you can iterate. Iterate means you can gather all the data. You can gather all the data. You can display all the data. Iteration. You can filter the data. You can extract the data. You can map the data. So many things you can do. Okay. Up to now, how we did all these things, sir? We used to write if, we used to write loops, we used to write some kind of logics and all. But now we are not going to use all those things. We are going to use Stream API. What you are going to use? You are getting the connection between each and everything. What you're going to do for these operations, iteration, filtering and all, you are going to use Stream API. You are going to use what? Stream API. So what is Stream API made up of, sir? Stream API is made up of some operations. Stream is nothing but the flow of the data. Stream is nothing but what? Flow of the data. So with that Stream API, you are going to work with the collection of objects. Now you understood the link between the four. So other things are like optional. Other things like optional class is there, for each method is there. So it is used internally. Okay, we'll not talk about that. So what are the four important things I told you? Functional interfaces we started with. What was functional interface? Single abstract method, but it can have many default methods. It can have many static methods. It can have many private methods. How to declare, how to use later. Okay. Now, functional interfaces, we have some methods. We have some abstract methods. Now, I want to use that abstract method. Who will be helping me to use that? Lambda expressions will help me use that. Yes or no? Who will help me? Lambda expressions will help me. Okay. Now, lambda expressions are also helpful for iterating the data, filtering the data, extracting the data. So what I will be doing, I will be working with the Stream API I'll take the help of the Stream API to do all these things. Yes. And in the meanwhile, I'll be using optional class for each method references. Okay. So method references, how to use and all. Okay. Now you got the whole idea what Java it is all about. Java it is all about the easier way to access the data in simple words, right? Okay. Now we will go to the actual notes. Okay. Now let's talk about, okay, let's talk about the lambda expressions, but we'll not start with lambda expressions. So generally, we will start with the functional interface. Okay, don't write anything. Functional interface. So first we'll start with annotation, but why annotations is required, we will know. Lambda expressions provide the implementation of which interface? Functional interface. Okay. So what is a functional interface as I've told you? Which has only one abstract method. Clear? Now how can I say? Now for example, if I create an interface. Okay. So how can I create an interface, sir? Tell me. Okay. I create an interface. If I create an interface, I can have any number of abstract methods. Yes or no? I can have any number of abstract methods. Yes or no? Okay. Now if I am creating one abstract method, you can say that it is a functional interface. But is there a way to restrict? Is there a way to restrict an interface to have only one and only one abstract method? That is important, no? So that restriction is given by the annotation. What is that annotation? Functional interface annotation. What is that annotation? Annotation, sorry. Functional interface. Okay. Now let me talk about this. Now let us take away all these things. Now let me create an interface. Try and understand my point here. Okay. Now I am creating interface. Interface followed by what? Interface name. Interface 1, let's say. Okay. Now, what will interface contain? Void method 1, let's say. Now, as per our definition, what is this? As per our definition, what is this? The interface which is having a single abstract method. Sir, how you are saying it is a single abstract method? If you don't declare it abstract also, it will become an abstract method only. Yes or no? No need to declare. In interface, no need to declare a method to be abstract. It automatically becomes an abstract method. Automatically becomes an abstract method. So for our idea, we can say public abstract. Now, will this interface 1 restrict me? Will this interface 1 restrict me not to create one more method? It won't. Okay. Example, try and understand. Now, I will say method 2. What I'll say now? I'll say method 2. Okay, you're also there. I thought. Okay. So what is this? Method 2. Method 1 is abstract method. Method 2 is also abstract method. Now, is it restricting me? Is it saying you should have a single abstract method, something like that? It is not saying. If it was saying, I would have got the error, no? Yes or no? So now, is this a functional interface? Why? Obviously. Now, what is asking me to do? Hey boss, please put an annotation. Please put an annotation. What is the annotation name? Functional interface. Okay, functional interface. Now suddenly error came. What is the error? Suddenly error came or not? What is that? Invalid. Hmm. Tell me. Read the answer. I mean, read the error. Invalid at the rate functional interface annotation. Interface 1 is not a functional interface. Why? What are those two? Two abstract methods. Functional interface can have only, so you need to say it is a functional interface if it is having only a single abstract method. It can have default, static and private. That is the next story. Is that clear? Now I used what? I use functional interface. If you give functional interface, you should have single abstract method only. If you are giving more than two, then applying that also will not save you. Yes or no? Am I clear? Am I clear with my words? Okay, now read these lines once again. Read these lines once again. Forget about lambda expression. Second point you read. An interface which has only one abstract method is called as functional interface. So generally you can't restrict. Generally you can't restrict. So what you can do? You can add at the rate functional interface. What it does? It says, hey boss, you are a functional interface. You are a functional interface. So you should have only one abstract method. Done. Am I crystal clear? Yes. So that's the point here. Now functional interface clear. Now what is that at the rate functional interface? That is called as annotation. So what is our first topic, sir? Now our first topic is annotation. Now you understand annotation better. So that is my idea actually. Okay. So first I can just go for annotation directly, but now you'll understand annotation better. Why? I've shown you the use. I've shown you the use of it. What is the use of it? Restrict. The use of it is to restrict. It will restrict basically, literally. Yes, understanding? So what is my first heading in Java 8, sir? Annotation. Okay. So if you want to write, you can write, no problem. Means like running notes kind of thing. If you are not habituated, don't worry. So what we are going to talk about today? We are going to talk about annotations. Not only Java 8. It is not like Java 8. Annotations in Java. Annotations in Java. Okay, don't say Java 8. Okay. But annotations become very, very important now. Okay. Now, what is the first point here? Okay. As always, I'll save the time by having the notes, but I'll clearly explain you what I'm going to do in each and every line. Okay. Now read it. Annotations. In Java, annotations are a form of metadata. What is that function interface doing? It is telling you, no, it is telling the program rather, not you, it is telling the program. It is telling the interface, hey boss interface, you have only one abstract method. It is telling or not? Means it is giving some information about the Java program component. Yes or no? What is that information it is giving? Information it is giving like you can hold only a single abstract method. Yes or no? So that is why the definition is coming like form of metadata that you can add to the source code. What it is providing? It is providing additional information or not? It is providing additional information or not? What is the additional information it is giving you? Function interface. It is giving you, hey boss, you cannot have more than one abstract method. Yes or no? Okay. Annotations are used for variety of purposes, including documentation, code generation, runtime processing, many things. Okay. So if you remember, if I take you back to something like, okay, so if I take you back to something like, okay, I'll put this as example. Okay, so that you can, right. So now this is the example basically. So now what you are looking at here, annotations will come with which symbol, sir? At the rate symbol. At the rate symbol. So you to convey information about the all the things what we discussed. Bookish way, things are like that. Okay. So in book, things are written like that. Whatever I explained you until now, everything is there. Okay, you can read that lines and understand what it instructs. Information about the program or to instruct tools and frameworks on how to process the annotated elements. So it will tell how we use it, how we use that functional interface, how we use that. Yes or no? Understanding my point? Okay. So now what I was talking about, I was talking about uh, the annotation where you are looking at how we can put the annotation. Now we can put the annotation at the rate followed by the annotation name. Okay. Now I wanted to give you an example which you already know, but you never realized that that was annotation. Okay. I'll tell you that. So class, let's say 1. Okay. And let me create a method. You never realized this actually. Now you will realize. So you will have class 2. Okay, extends. Okay, otherwise I'll make this interface. Okay, interface you can make, or abstract method you can make, no problem. So if I say interface, it will say implements. It will say implement 1. Okay, now you are getting something like this. Now tell me what happened. It generated something like at the rate override. What is that? What is this? 10th line. What is the 10th line? Annotation. Come on, guys. What is the 10th line? I told all Ramayana and I am asking you who is Sita. Hmm. What is that at the rate? Override. Annotation, right? What that annotation is saying? Hey boss, you are overriding. You are overriding. You are overriding an element, a method from the parent. You are overriding an element from the parent. So that is what you are doing. It is giving the compiler or you can say the interpreter about what it is doing. What it is doing. Some information. Yes or no? So these are called inbuilt. What are these called? Inbuilt annotations. What are these called? Inbuilt annotations. What are these? Inbuilt annotations. So we have some inbuilt annotations, and we obviously will also have user defined annotations. So inbuilt annotations you have, and the user defined. Just now you have seen override. What is this override will tell you? Used to indicate the method is intended to override a method from the super class. Yes or no? Okay. So something like, okay, you have something like depreciated. What is that? Depreciated. What is depreciated will tell you is it's an old method which was used in the previous version. Now it is not being used. Depreciated. Okay. So on that method you will get something like depreciated. Yes, something like depreciated. So now I think you have some idea on the things like what you can say, uh, the word which I can use is something like uh, outdated. Outdated, something you use, no, outdated. Why you use this word outdated? Outdated word, why you use? Because it is like old trend, old formula. Okay, so old style and all. So depreciated is also something like that. So if you have at the rate depreciated on any method, or any class or anything, it will be like previous version. Now it is not being used. It is not better to use. Okay, like that you see. What is that annotation? Depreciated annotation. Okay, next. What do you look at? Suppress warning. Suppress warning. So this, for this I'll give you a simple example. Now you see, I will create a list actually. I'll create a list. So generally, what is a list? Generally, what is a list? List. What is a list? List is a collection of elements. List is what? Collection of elements. Okay. Okay. List is a collection of elements. So you have java.util.start. Now you see a small yellow line. Yes or no? Okay. So that is a warning basically. What is that? Warning. It's a warning. Actually, why you get warnings are here means, now here I said string, but here I did not say string. Here I said string, but here I did not say string. So it is giving me a warning. Warning that there might be some kind of uh, error or something, it will come. So, but what I will do, I will say at the rate suppress warning. What I'll say? Suppress warnings. Okay. So suppress warnings. Okay. So spellings you have to be taking care of. Suppress warnings. Okay, spellings SUPPRESS. Okay, SUPPRESS. Okay, suppress warnings. So what you are using here? Suppress warnings. Okay, and add the missing attribute. So now suppress warnings. So some value you might give or something. Okay. So now what will happen? You will have that warnings removed. You'll have that warnings removed. So for example, here I will say something like unchecked. Okay. So now why it is not being removed? Okay. So unchecked is not accepting. No problem. So something like this. Okay. So you can use annotation like this. So what it is not accepting here. So same thing we will do. Same thing I'm using, but it is not accepting. No problem. You need to understand the concept. That is important. Okay. Same thing. Unchecked means checked exception. Unchecked exception. You remember? Okay. So that one. Okay. No problem. I'll check it out. So yeah. So suppress warnings, depreciated. Okay. So this is like value. So I'll tell you how to use that value also. Okay. While we create our own. So what is the idea over here? See, read this line. This annotation is used to suppress compiler warnings. Compiler warning. So generally compiler will give you warning. Use this way. Use this way. So you want to suppress means you can use it. Okay, and you already use functional interface. Yes or no? What we use functional interface for and all you have used it, right? Okay, like this we will have many annotations moving forward. So now you go to Hibernate, you'll have many annotations. So you'll go to Spring Boot, you'll have many annotations. Okay. So at that time we'll know we'll write about annotation. I mean we'll write the program and we'll write an annotation. Then we will know. So we cannot list out everything, right? So that is impossible to remember, right? Where when it is used, we'll know that importance. When it is used, we'll know that importance. Yes, understanding my point? Okay. Now let's use or let's create a custom annotation. So custom annotation we generally don't do in the real time or in our course basically. But here try and understand the process. Okay. So that we can use the annotations better. So that we can use the annotations better. So don't try to mug up the code or something like that. Just try to understand. Okay. So whenever you want to create your own interface, your own annotation, what you have to do is you have to create public at the rate interface. At the rate interface. So what is that you have to use? At the rate interface. So you have to create like this. Okay. So what you have to do, you have to say, okay. So you have to say, one second. Okay, so if you want to create your own annotation, what you can do? You can say, okay, at the rate, okay, at the rate interface, at the rate interface. So general interface is different, at the rate interface is different. What is at the rate interface, sir? At the rate interface is, at the rate interface is annotation. At the rate interface is annotation. At the rate interface, annotation, sorry, interface. What is the name of that annotation? My custom annotation. My custom annotation. Yes. Okay. So what you are doing here? My custom annotation. My custom annotation. Just like a class. Just like a class. Okay. Now what it will contain inside? It may contain the values which can be taken into that. Now we have used that unchecked, no? So unchecked is a value that can be taken, value that can be taken. So that we can use. Okay. For that, what we can have? We can have string value. Okay. So here default. So default means Default means by default what value it can take. By default it can take some default value. Okay, it is of which type? String type. And int, the second annotation is count. Second annotation is count. Count default 0. So what are these things, sir? In order to create an annotation, you have to specify these things. So what is that? Retention policy, target. Okay. So these things you have to specify. So those are like compulsory codes. Those are like compulsory codes for creating an annotation. So they are available where? They are available in java.lang.annotation. Java.lang.annotation. You can simply say java.lang.annotation.star. No problem. So element type, retention policy, target. So you mainly concentrate on this thing first. Okay. So don't worry about those things because they are fixed. They are fixed. Don't worry about those. So now tell me what annotation we created. We created at the rate my custom annotation. Yes or no? How to use it? You can use it. Okay. You can use it. Now, for example, I want to apply. Okay. So I want to apply that annotation on this particular method. On this particular method. So how I am applying it? How I am applying? At the rate my custom annotation. What is the first value that I am taking? What is the first value I am taking? Custom value. What is the attribute I am using? Value attribute. What is the second value I am taking? 42. What is the attribute I am using? Count attribute. Why, sir? Why I did that? Okay. Now let us do the reverse engineering. Now let's say I have used my custom annotation. What I've used, sir? I've used my custom annotation on this particular method. Let's say. Okay. Clear? Okay. Now what I should do inside? What I should do inside? I need to create this value also. I need to create this count also. So that value is a string value. Now tell me how to you create a string. String, understanding my points or not? String value, string value. Okay, you put that things for a variable also. You need to put that things, right? That is annotation for you. You put that value, and you put that brackets, right? And what should be there in that? There should be a string. There should be a string. User may give or may not give. User may give or may not give. If the user gives, take that value. If the user don't give, take a default value. Take a default value. Something like my value. Am I clear? Yes or no? Now, is it clear? Annotation can take values. It can take any type of value. Now, what is the first value I want that annotation to take? What is the first value that I want my annotation to take? Value, value attribute rather, value attribute. The value attribute can be taken by the user as a string. Taken by the user as a string. So value is equal to any value. If the user is not giving it, what value will be taken automatically? Default value will be taken. How you are providing the default value? By using the default keyword. By using the default keyword. Yes or no? Am I clear or not? Yes. So default keyword is important now. Default keyword followed by the default value. Now tell me, I use value is equal to custom value. What annotation will take? Will annotation take custom value or my value? What annotation will take? Custom value it will take or my value it will take? Will it take custom value or my value? Why? Because annotation is providing. Annotation is providing. If annotation is not providing, if annotation is not providing. Now, annotation may provide or may not provide. If annotation is providing, it will take the provided value. If the annotation is not providing, what value it will take? It will take the default value. It will take the default value. Am I clear? Yes or no? Okay. Sunday. Sunday. Sunday, if I say holiday also, it's a holiday only. If I don't say holiday, you will take it. No. It is as simple as that. Yes or no? Okay. Right. Next value. Now tell me, count. Count. Tell me. Int, very good. Count, super, excellent. Default, very good. Default, something, 10. Done. Now, count value is taken how much? Count value is taken how much? 42. Count value is taken how much? 42. Default value was how much? 10. You're understanding my point? So this is the way we create. This is the way we create custom annotations or user defined annotations. Mostly we don't have to, but we will know. Understood my points? Everyone clear with annotations? What is annotation? Annotation is metadata. Annotation means metadata, which will convey some information to a particular element. It can be a class, it can be a method, or it can be any other thing. It can be any other thing. Yes or no? Okay. Annotations are how many types? Annotations are how many types? Two types. What are they? What are they? Inbuilt or predefined. Built-in, inbuilt, predefined, anything, any word is fine. Annotations. Then the second one is user defined annotation. User defined annotations. If I want to use the predefined annotations, we should know the annotation name, we should know the parameters, we should know the attributes in that. How can we use? At the rate annotation name. Examples: override, depreciated, suppress warnings, functional interfaces. For now, these four are enough. Slowly we will try to know it. Yes. Next thing, user defined. How we can create a user defined interface? Sorry, user defined annotation. At the rate interface annotation name, and inside you can have attributes. What attributes you can have? You can have strings, int, anything. Now, for example, I want a string. What I will say? String value name can be anything, of course. Value of default, my value. Why, sir, you are giving this value? Because if the user is not giving any value, let the annotation take its own value. Yes. int int count of default 10. If the annotation is not giving any value, if the user is using the annotation but is not giving any value, you take 10 as the default. Now you got a clear cut idea of annotation? Yes or no? So this is what is annotation for you. Yes, I'll not put it big. This is enough simple knowledge. What is annotation? What is annotation? The definition you have to say. How many types of annotations? Two types of annotations. First is defined by the system already in environment, or already defined them, and next is user defined. So user have to define them. Okay. So this is what you require as per the annotation is concerned. Yes. So what is the first annotation we are going to use now? We are going to use the functional interface. We are going to use the functional interface. So don't worry about all these things. I'll make it less. Don't worry. Yes. Okay. So what a functional interface will tell you? Functional interface will tell you that, hey boss, you can have only a single abstract method. Okay. So we will define at least today, and tomorrow we will see the programs. Okay, lambda program directly we will go into. So here we are going for, okay, notes part. I'll just put it after the class. Okay. Now define the functional interface. If somebody is asking you this, what will be your answer? An interface that contains. Now you might forget functional interfaces, but you'll not forget Samantha. No? Okay. So lambda expressions. Okay. So I'll just take out this. Okay. Right. An interface which provide only one abstract method. One abstract method, and it is given by @functional interface, which is used to declare interface as a functional interface. Got it? Yes or no? Okay. So now what we will do is we will write one more point. As we know, okay, we can have, otherwise we can have which methods? Default, static, and private methods. Okay, we can have default, static, and private methods. Okay. So that point, if I clear, it will be good, no? Okay. Examples I'll give from the page. Now you create an interface first. So interface unint. Okay. Now how can I make it functional interface? Use the well-known functional spellings. You must be pretty sure. Functional interface. Functional interface. So now functional interface will have void method. Void method. So which is abstract method. Single abstract method. But what I told you, we can have default method. Default method can have body. Yes. Default method can have body. Very good. Then you can have a static void method. Okay, so today only declaration part. So tomorrow we will see how to use them. So private void private method. Okay, all of them can have body. All of them can have body. Okay, right? All of them can have body. How to use the default method? How to use the static method? How to use the private method? We will come to know in our tomorrow's session. And we also will understand lambda expressions. Right? Right? So what all we understood today? Annotations, functional interfaces, and what all functional interfaces can contain. It cannot contain one more, I mean, more than one abstract method, but it can contain default methods, static methods, and private methods. Yes or no? Okay. So this is the definition, I mean, this is the explanation of the functional interface, and all the other things we will be discussing in our next session, right? Yes. So private methods, I will say with the body. That is also very important. Okay. So that's it for today. Any questions, any queries, uh, you have to ask me right now. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. We'll meet tomorrow. Thank you.